But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. Let me tell you about my great God.
Hey guys, Pastor Tim here. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're ready to get your day started off in God's Word. I know it's been a while, but we are continuing on with Exodus chapter 5. If you recall from our last videos, Moses and Aaron have just approached Pharaoh and given him the message, hey, let my people go. This is God's Word that God commands. And the reason I say it like that is because obviously we know that in the Bible, Egypt is often a picture, a representation of the world philosophy, the world in general that you read about in the Bible, things that are just opposed and contrary to the things of God. And Moses is obviously the king of that. And here comes Moses and Aaron with God's word, all right? And we see Pharaoh, a representation of the world, resisting God's word, refusing it, rejecting it, all right? It's something we see played out in the world very much so today. And Pharaoh hardens his heart, all right? He doesn't accept, he resists God's word, he hardens his heart, and in fact, he makes some new commands in regards to Moses and Aaron. He's like, I don't know your God. Who is your God to command me what to do? All right, you know what? If you guys are so idle, all right, because Moses specifically asks in this chapter, you know, hey, let us go that we may go and worship our God. Let us go 3 days journey out into the wilderness that we can sacrifice and worship our God. And of course, Pharaoh wasn't going to allow this to happen because he's believing, obviously, if they go 3 days journeys out to worship God, they're just not going to come back. And he says, you know what? If you guys are so idle, all right, and you don't have much to do, that you have enough time to think about, you know what, we want to go and worship our God out in the wilderness, you know what, I'm just going to give you more stuff to do. I'm going to make your labor that much harder. You know, the bricks you make, I'm not going to give you any of the straw that you need to make those bricks, all right? We that for you guys. You guys can go out and get that yourself. But guess what? The demand for the brick that you make is going to stay the same, if not greater, all right? And we're going to expect that from you guys. So he increases their labor. He makes their labor even harder, all right? And then the taskmasters, the leaders over Israel, the Israelites themselves are beaten because of this, because they're not able to meet this demand, and they go. And here's another interesting picture we see in this chapter. These leaders of the Israelites, the ones who kind of manage the workforce and so forth to help produce the things they need to meet Pharaoh's demands, because they're being punished and because they feel the brunt of this new rule change that Pharaoh inflicted upon them, they go to Pharaoh and to complain about it. They go to Pharaoh with their burden and say, why is this happening unto us? And he says, hey, it's because of Moses. In essence, it's because Moses came and said, you guys wanted to go and sacrifice unto your God out in the wilderness, and I thought, if you guys had so much time on your hand that you could do that, I wasn't giving you enough work to begin with. And they go and they see Moses and Aaron in the way when they leave Pharaoh after being told what happened. And of course, they are definitely not pleased with Moses and Aaron. They're very upset at him. You know, why do you come here and do this to us? Like, it's all their fault, all right? And that Pharaoh is not the enemy. The reason I bring it up like that is because it's a sad picture of what oftentimes happens even with believers today. You know, when we have burdens, when we have struggles, when we have things that are very trying in our lives, we go to the world for the solution instead of going to God. And we see that being represented in this chapter, all right? These are Israelites, these are the Hebrews, and instead of going to God with their problems, instead of going to Moses or Aaron to go to God for their problems, they go to Pharaoh himself. It's like a believer going to the world, running to the world's philosophy, running to worldly friends and so forth for solutions to their problems instead of going to God. And we need to be, all right, the believer, a child of God, needs to be like Moses in this chapter, all right? When the taskmasters go up to him and complain and stuff, he goes to God with his problem. All right, he kind of sounds pretty confrontational when he comes to God, saying, you know, why did you allow this to happen? But at least he's going to God. He's not going to Pharaoh trying to solve his problem, because he knows Pharaoh is the enemy. Pharaoh has no intent to help them with their problem. He's the one that caused it in the first place. All right, so we definitely want to be more like Moses in this sense and go to God than like the taskmasters and go into Pharaoh in the first place. All right, so that's it for chapter 5. All right, we're getting the ball rolling here. Yes, we're gonna get to the plagues and all the other stuff that happens with Moses in Egypt, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to be a little bit more frequent and regular with these daily devotional videos as well. But in the meantime, guys, I hope you're still staying faithful in your own personal devotional life. If you've gone ahead and maybe have finished Exodus anyway, that's fine. That's great. If you want to come back and watch these videos just to get a better idea of the context and things that are happening, that's great as well. But despite all that, whether you're watching these videos or you're just continuing on your own in your personal devotions, as always, tell somebody what you got out of God's word today. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.